It's funny. I always assume that iPhones, iPads, and iPod touches, or really any other computing devices, they slow down with age because they can't handle new features as well as newer devices. But this new admission from Apple is very eye-opening and a PR disaster. So, what happened? So, Primate Labs, the guys who made those Geekbench benchmarking apps that tell you how fast your phone is and how it compares to other devices, they found out that iPhones slow down over time as the batteries get older, which I think it was kind of fair to assume. As your device gets older, it's going to get become slower because it can't handle new features and new technologies as well as the new devices can. And then it turns out Apple admitted to slowing down older iPhones as they get older because the batteries in them start to diminish. And so this is what Apple actually said. I have a quote here. Quote, our goal is to deliver the best experience for customers, which includes overall performance and prolonging the life of their devices. Lithium-ion batteries become less capable of supplying peak current demands when in cold conditions, have a low battery charge, or as they age over time, which can result in the device unexpectedly shutting down to protect its electronic components. Last year, we released a feature for the iPhone 6, iPhone 6s, and iPhone SE to smooth out the instantaneous peaks only when needed to prevent the device from unexpectedly shutting down during these conditions. We've now extended that feature to iPhone 7 with iOS 11.2 and plan to add support for other products in the future. Now, it's not really clear if Apple did this with older iPhones, like even the iPhone 5S or the iPhone 5, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. I mean, my sister is seeing that happen with her iPhone 5S, and I've seen that happen, at least in terms of slowdown. I could sort of see battery life, but I especially notice slowdown in older devices like I have the original iPad mini and the 5th generation iPod Touch. And it's also not clear if other manufacturers do this or if Apple actually does that to iPads, the iPod Touches, or the MacBooks. And so, yeah, how do I feel about this? Like a lot of you guys, because I'm hearing this is getting quite a bit of a backlash. I was pretty pissed off to hear this because it's funny. Like I said, I always just assumed, as your devices get older, they're going to become a lot more slower because of new features. Like, I remember specifically when I went from iOS 6 to iOS 7 on my first iPad mini, I noticed a pretty noticeable slowdown. And when it got to iOS 8, it just pretty much slowed to a crawl, especially when I started to add more apps, which thank God Apple has boosted the storage on newer iOS devices, particularly the iPhones. And I'm even starting to notice a little bit of that on the iPhone SE. It's still pretty responsive. It still can be pretty quick. And here's a commenter on my latest Teen Titans Go video. But it overall still performs pretty good. But I really started thinking about that because it is true that not even just smartphones, but anything with a battery, it starts to diminish over time. The batteries get tired as they get charged more and more. And to kind of clear the air on something, the battery diminishes when it charges fully, when it goes from 0 to 100. A charge cycle is considered when the battery is able to go from fully empty to a complete full charge. So that's what they mean by that. But yes, as batteries get older, they start to get more tired because new features take up a lot more processing power, especially if a device isn't designed to handle it as well. And, I've also seen, unlike my Nintendo DSi, the battery starts to bulge. Which, I will say this, if your battery starts to bulge or get untouchably hot, you're going to need to bring it in for service because, you don't want your device to overheat and it could explode. It's not just a Samsung Galaxy Note 7 issue. So, yeah, but as I started thinking about this, I just realized that slowing down phones, I really need to stop looking at my phone for the time being. Like slowing down, it's just basically it just further adds to the whole planned obsolescence thing, which Apple doesn't admit to that. And even though I've taken some college marketing classes, planned obsolescence, at least in the college marketing class, is more a theory. I think there's truth to that because, new technologies come and companies, they want you to buy their newest products as soon as you can. But this just adds the whole Apple admitting, yeah, we slow down your iPhone to compensate for batteries. It does kind of feel like an admission to planned obsolescence. Because when you look at devices that, things like my iPad mini, which I ended up formatting and getting rid of a lot of things, it still performs, pretty well. But unfortunately, I can't really use the tablet. But either way, I noticed that the battery seems to run just fine. And even to go to a non-Apple device like my Nexus 5X, which from day one, the battery on that thing has always been lackluster. But I can say that with time, the device did get slower because of new updates, but the battery didn't seem to diminish. Like the whole thing, yes, I know that smartphone batteries are designed to really only last for about 2 years or about 500 charge cycles, which that's kind of expected because, in the past, when you got a smartphone, you had to buy the phone with a 2-year contract, so when that contract is up, your phone's paid off, you were expected to get a new smartphone. And, honestly, upgrading to a new smartphone every 2 years honestly doesn't sound that bad of a plan to me. It's just that I wish when I'm using a phone that's not on a contract like my iPhone SE, I want to be able to use that until it's pretty much run into the ground. I mean, the SE came out in 2016. I bought mine last Christmas, and I'm going on into 2018. I just hope I can get a few years out of it, especially since Apple nowadays tends to release software updates for their devices for around 3 to 4 years after they came out. I mean, look at the iPhone 5S, which got iOS 11, and that device came out in 2013. Now I'm expecting that 2017 is going to be the last year the 5S will be getting software updates, but still 4 years, I want to be able to use it for that length of time. So I kind of feel them slowing down the performance, to compensate for the battery. It's just further insurance to get planned. You're going to make things worse by slowing it down. And in some cases the battery isn't performing as bad. When I look at my sister's iPhone 5S, it's not going to go from 0 to 100, 100 to 0 in an hour. So I just feel like it's just further insurance that, hey, it's slowing down. You either have to delete almost everything you've got, or you need to, get our new $1,000 iPhone 10. I mean, yes, I know there's the iPhone 8, but still, I don't know. I guess for me, just it really sucks because as much as I enjoy getting new technology, I don't always have the money to spare. I mean, that's why I was glad to get the iPhone SE, which you can now get for $349 from the Apple Store. Was it $349 or $329? Let me double check that. Here, you can actually get it for $150 from places like Best Buy and Boost Mobile. Just double check. Yeah, $349. So yeah, I just don't really like this idea. Yeah, because it just feels like it just further plans for planned obsolescence. Now, then again, come to think of it, I am talking about my sister's iPhone 5S, and Apple didn't say if they started slowing down those devices. So my SE is a little bit slow. It's still plenty usable. I just hope I can get to use it for another couple of years. When something like the iPhone SE 3 comes out, I'm probably gonna buy that to take its place. And So I wanted to end this video or podcast to throw it out to all you guys. Do you know if other manufacturers do this? I've tried researching it and I couldn't really find anything because a lot of websites, they said like the typical stuff, your device slows down over time because new features take up a lot of processing power, and things like hard drives, they die eventually. So if you guys know of any other manufacturers that do this, please leave it in the comments below. So I know it's going to raise the question of, should I update my iPhone? And now that we're hearing about this, I kind of feel like it's going to be a double-edged like sword, if you will, because on one hand, I think people should be updating to newer versions of not just iOS but software in general. Whether it be your Android phone or even your Nintendo Switch or your PS4 and or Xbox One, not only for new features, but new updates also tend to supply more security patches, and when companies do this right, better power management. So although now when we hear the word power management in iOS, it probably means that AKA we're going to slow down your phone to compensate for the battery. So what I'm trying to say is, so in my opinion, yes, you should still be updating your iPhones, even if it means a bit of a performance. It's a bit of a performance throttling, because like I said, my iPhone SE, even though it's a tad slower, it's still plenty usable. Now, if you're in the case, I was actually just watching Rich from Review Tech USA's video, and he was saying he's heard people have had iPhone 6s where when the batteries go to 40%, they'll just shut off randomly. If you're having that kind of a case, you may just go to, Apple's Genius Bar. Yes, you may have to pay $79, but, hey, it's better than buying a $649 phone, or of course you can switch to Android, but then again, I really need to know if other manufacturers are doing this kind of a strategy. So yeah, that's all I've got. This has been Blood Moon Bobby. Thanks for watching or listening. Hey guys, this has been a Blood Moon Bobby video. Please like this video or dislike it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.